Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Shalona McFarland here in the Philippines, and it's Monday, so here I am doing my video. So today I am going to be discussing carpal tunnel syndrome. What is it? What causes it? Things to do to help it. All right, so carpal tunnel syndrome. So the bones in your wrist are called carpals. Okay, there's 8 of them, and they kind of have a curve to them, like this way. That makes sense? Okay. And on the bottom of them, there's a strap of tendons that hold them together. Okay, otherwise they'd be flat and fall apart. If your tendon is weak, it becomes flat, and all of the nerves and vessels that run through that tunnel get compressed, okay? And it flattens it out and squishes it. So that's not a happy thing for those vessels. So one of the things to do to correct that is adjusting them and making the tunnel, the curve of the tunnel, not collapse. Okay, I use taping with kinesio tape to help support that, to help support across the front so that it doesn't continue to collapse it and make it flat. Now that's the gist of true carpal tunnel syndrome, and it's usually an overuse problem. So if you overuse something like typing a lot in the wrong position, in particularly, it strains that tendon and makes it swell, which swelling is the other thing that decreases space in the body and will put pressure back on those nerves. Hi. Hi, Chris. So in order to keep that pressure down, you have to decrease the problem that's causing it. Now, if this is your job, it may just be a matter of you're doing this instead of this. You see how that just changed the wrist? Okay, that right there is a terrible position to be typing in. And if you're working on a laptop, you're either doing this or this, which is straining your neck, your shoulders, your upper back, your shoulders, your elbows, your wrist, all of it, okay? If your hands are in 90 degrees, 90-degree elbow, this isn't 90, this isn't 90, this isn't 90, 90 degrees, the posture is going to feel better, everything's going to work together better, and you're going to take a lot of the strain off of that. Okay, so that's for true carpal tunnel. Now, carpal tunnel syndrome is a symptom. Again, it's a symptom of either you can have collapse here or swelling here at the actual carpals. But these nerves don't start here. The nerves that are telling you something is off don't start here. They start up here in the neck. This is why chiropractic is so important, and why it's so important if you're having those symptoms to have the entire limb or limbs corrected, because you can have entrapment of the nerve. And that nerve can be entrapped right where it comes out of the spine. It can be entrapped in the shoulder underneath the clavicle. It can be entrapped in the elbow or in the wrist. And they all give the same symptoms. Okay, so going just off symptomatology alone doesn't mean you have that issue, that carpal tunnel syndrome. You could very likely just have nerve entrapment somewhere along the path. And again, you get the subluxation that's causing it out of the way and the swelling that's causing it out of the way, and it magically goes away. Okay, so things you can do to help stretch it and make it feel better. So the first exercise I recommend is the prayer exercise. I'm going to get up just a little bit here so you can see. Okay, so you're going to put your hands together like you're praying, except, and it's going to be against your body, and you're going to slide down, keeping your palms together and your fingers up as far as you can. Okay? This is a major, major stretch. It'll stretch your fingers. It'll stretch your forearms. It'll stretch all of that in creating that prayer pose. Okay? Then once you've done that for 5 to 10 seconds, switch into reverse prayer. Okay? And with this one, you're going to come up as high as you can with the fingers still pointed down, the palms flat together. Okay? This one's going to stretch more along the thumb tendons. Okay? All right, so prayer, reverse prayer. Then this is a tricky one. You can do this with your hand and reverse it, or you can do it against a wall. Okay? So if, say your wall is right here, I'm just trying to do it where you can see it. You're going to spread your fingers. Okay, so this is just like in yoga. Spread your fingers, and you're going to push against that wall. If this isn't much of a stretch, drop that hand down. Okay, the pressure of the wall is pushing back against you. That's going to keep that hand flat. Once that you've got a nice, and keep your elbow straight. Once you've got a nice stretch there, you're going to turn it on the wall. So now that it's this way. And by the way, if you're doing this with your hand, this is how you would do it. Okay, so you're pretending your hand is the wall. Okay? And so now you're stretching all of these tendons all the way up into your forearm. Okay, with that, by straightening the elbow, you now have a different set of tendons that you're stretching. Okay? All right. Then the next one, this is a martial arts stretch, but this is going to stretch the outside tendons here. Okay? This is called a crane. This is actually a strike, and this is how it's done. Notice I'm not like this. I'm not in a fist. My fingers are loose, like a crane's head. My elbow is straight. I'm going to take my other hand, place it on my wrist, and pull down a little bit, which is going to stretch it more. And then I'm going to straighten it together just like that. Okay? This one you're going to feel all the way up and through here. Okay? If you're doing it right. Okay? So again, the crane. Elbow straight, straight down, it's not out here. Straight down, fingers are loose, it's not in a clenched fist. Fingers are loose, opposite hand, give it a stretch, press it forward. Okay, and if you can go all the way straight, that is even better. And you're going to switch. Thank you, Chris. Opposite hand, elbow in, straight out. Woo, that one's a little tighter on me, okay? Hi, Claudine. Okay, so that's your crane stretch. So between those few little stretches, they really help loosen up the carpals and all of the ligaments and tendons that go to this area, okay? If you think you might have carpal tunnel syndrome, then by all means, go to your chiropractor and have them tested. Theoretically, we all were taught how to test for carpal tunnel syndrome. We all know how to diagnose whether it's here or here or here or here, okay? So wherever your symptoms are coming from, I still do the whole chain because it's like a chain of command. Okay, if, for instance, you're in the military and a private is getting a message from the captain, well, it has to go down through its chain in order to get to him, right? Because captains don't generally talk directly to privates in certain situations, right? It has to go through a chain of command in order to get there. The same thing happens in your body. this is the president up here, and everything goes through it, right? So the chain of command going down until it gets down here and tells you something's not right. The something not right could be right here at the tip of the finger. Maybe you stuck your finger in a tack. Okay, well, that's going to hurt. That's going to give you some symptoms. And if that gets infected, it's going to work its way back and might give you symptoms back here. These are all things that as a doctor we have to think about when somebody presents us with, this is my problem this week or this month or this year or whatever. And the length of time this problem has been going on is also very important. What caused it from the beginning is very important. So that's why I take a really thorough history on people, because I want to know what I'm dealing with. Is this something that happened 5 minutes ago because you stuck your finger in a tack? Or is this something that's been here for 15 years because you do this all day long in the wrong position instead of sitting up and being in the position you're supposed to be when you're typing? Or you're out here doing this, or you're doing this because you can't see, or like all of those things factor into why your body is hurting and why you're feeling like you are today. It doesn't mean you have a drug or surgery deficiency. It just means something is not communicating properly, and so it's my job to help give that back, okay? All right, so again, stretches, prayer, reverse prayer, stretching against the wall, flipping it, okay, with the straight arm, right? And then crane. I'm going to do this one because this one's tight. Okay, fingers are loose. They're not tucked in. This is not the same stretch. Loose fingers. Crane, out, and back in. Okay? Alrighty, guys. There you go. Hope that gives you some good information on carpal tunnel. And you can correct it with chiropractic, and acupuncture works wonderful on it as well. That's why I do all these things. Laser helps. All the things I do, it's because it helps the overall health of the body, and it keeps people from having to turn to drugs and surgery when those are not necessary. Okay? If you've fallen off the roof, your bone's sticking out, by all means, go have it surgically put back in. I don't want to do that for you. But if you're doing this all day and this is bothering you, don't cut on it first. Try everything you can to keep from getting cut on, because once that tissue is cut, it is never the same again, and now you have scar tissue to deal with, which is much more difficult to get rid of. Okay? Alrighty, guys. Love you. God bless. I will see you next Monday. And for all of you here in the Philippines, I am at Alabang today, the Alabang Clinic across from Philinvest Mall from 1 to 5 p.m. See you there. God bless, guys.